I get asked every once in a while, what type of method should we use to train our 1,000 employees? Should we use webinars? Should we use online training? Should we use live training? Should we just send them emails? My response is you should use all of them and use it in a blended format. So what I'll talk about is the 5 different ways of getting things out. Obviously everybody uses email all the time. Well, we'll just email them the message. Not a bad thing to do, but as many emails as everybody gets, the likelihood of them actually opening it, reading it, and obtaining that knowledge is low. But sending out emails for mass communication is not a bad thing to do. It's inexpensive, it's easy to do. The next is live, in person. Okay, let's fly around the country and train all these people in person. It's probably the most effective way of transferring the knowledge. However, it's probably the most expensive, and also it doesn't scale. So the good thing about live training is it is very effective for small groups, but if you have 1,000 folks out there, it's a little bit challenging to do. The other is webinar. Webinars become so mainstream, and you can do a webinar and you can talk to everybody and so on. The downside of webinars is most people, think about the last time you participated in a webinar, you most likely multitask it 3 or 4 times. So the downside with webinar is you don't really have the people engaged unless you use some advanced things from pollings and questions and having cameras and communities and so on. So webinar is relatively easy to deploy. It's effective. However, you can't measure the effectiveness since it's not tied usually to an LMS, and also you can't really see the engagement. Online training, of doing a self-paced online training. The good thing is it's highly scalable. You can get to 1,000 people with an online training class. You can control the content of it. You know who took what. It's trackable, and you can see if people are getting the knowledge or not. And then also they can do it on their own time periods. You actually could train 1,000, 5,000, 10,000 people globally on a single topic within a couple of days. The downside of online training is sometimes the length it takes to develop the training, from the time it goes from the storyboard to the ADDIE review to the instructional design review, if it has to go through compliance. Sometimes developing an online course can take a little while. The other thing is printed material. As many folks still send out printed material. The downside of most people in organizations today, they don't have a physical mailbox anymore, so actually getting it to them can be a little bit hard. It can get lost in the shuffle, but the good thing about printed material is it's consistent, it's economical, it's highly controlled. It's really good as a job aid or something to augment it. So in general, when I'm asked, okay, what tool should I use to train all our employees, all our customers, and so on, I usually say I would look to use them all, but understanding the strengths and weaknesses of each one of the tools and use them in a blended format. And regardless of the delivery mechanism, having some system to measure, did the person get it, whether it be that an assessment, whether it be a survey, and it should be tied back to the learning management system.